Hey guys, I'm Island Turtle. Welcome to BOMISpirit. So this is Aloha Friday hangout. So Aloha Friday. I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far, and hope you guys have had a great week. It's crazy. It's Friday. I don't know why it feels like Sunday to me. It does. I don't know. That's me. Maybe you guys are feeling that way too, but it feels like Sunday in an odd way. We did just have Beltane or Mayday. And I hope you guys were feeling the vibes of that day. And I just hope you guys are good, like always. Now, before we get started, if you're new, welcome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. All of that does help the videos to circulate and for people to find them. And yeah, normally on Aloha Fridays, we hang out, we talk a little bit, we do some channel messages a little bit, and we pull a little bit of cards. Okay. Let's see. Happy Friday. It's sunny in Seattle. Oh, where's the Clydester? He literally just walked in because he knew I was starting. Hi, buddy. I swear he always knows. He always knows. And people who have sessions with me too, it's like he always gets, excuse me, a little active when I have a session starting as well. We're here, Aloha Friday. Hi. Been feeling Friday since Monday. Love the necklace. Oh, thanks. I'm wearing Appetite and Prenite today. Um, Actually, I've been wearing these like all throughout Beltane. So, what's up, weird, spicy, non-existing feeling day today? I don't know what happened. There's an up and down with that for some of us, and not for everybody. And there are some things I want to talk about before we get into some cards, like some of these weird current energies, and it is very up and down. And again, everyone's experiencing something different at different times as well. So actually, let me just start the chat there. Okay. So before going live, I also like to tune in with spirit and just kind of ask or inquire, like, hey, what do you want me to focus on with everybody today? Like, what would benefit everyone as far as discussion is concerned? And they said, trust the unfolding of things. Like, and I know that's been very hard. And I have been saying this repeatedly in every video for months to death. And I'm sure some of you guys are sick of hearing it. But Pisces has been teaching us how to surrender. Okay. Seriously, Saturn Pisces has been teaching us in so many different ways on how to be receptive, how to let go, how to be open, how to give into what you're feeling, give into what's happening. And we've had all these other nuances of other themes that have been going on. And with the fact that Beltane was just yesterday, also, hey patrons, I see y'all. Hey Alejandra. Me and the patrons, the Rainbow Tribe, sat together yesterday for the weekly patron reading. And there was so much about blooming and blossoming and unfolding of energies and like not in the ways we've expected. And that is very much Saturn Pisces, right? And so some of the ways that like things are, and I want to say with unfolding, it really does feel like that opening of a flower is what that feels like. Whether you're equating that to birthing, rebirths, or new experiences, or just the flow of energy, right? Doesn't really matter what word you put on it. It's just what spirit was like hinting at. The way that things are being experienced right now. For a lot of people is not the way they expect. And for some people, there is a resistance of that. There's a fighting of that. Um, and however you're experiencing it, something they wanted me to hone in on is like what feels right about it and what doesn't, right? It's really easy as a human with our little monkey minds to get very fixated on what doesn't feel right about it or what we don't like about it and to just like fight and have resistance. But there's always something beautiful and joyful and peaceful to be experienced with embracing what good is coming from how things are shifting, even if it's not the way you expected. Something that was coming up in the patron reading yesterday too was like, how do I want to say, how this expectation really distracts from like how it is actually feeling within you in a good way, I think is the better way to say that. And we've also had this continued theme, which again is still very much here, of what rejuvenates you and makes you feel alive and makes you feel revitalized, and what makes you feel weak, what makes you feel gross, what makes you feel disempowered even. And that disempowerment for some people may come in the form of like, I don't like what's happening, or I don't like how things are going or not going, right? in some ways, like when we feed into that feeling too much, like I'm not gonna, well, let me say another way, because I believe that we are entitled to feel however we want to feel. Okay. That is the power of choice. We are entitled to like feel our feelings, right? But to be aware of, there's a difference between flowing with your feelings and just staying in a pessimistic, angry place, right? There's a difference. There's a difference there. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to acknowledge what you're feeling. You should, right? We should, because there are emotions, right? They're us. But to make space as well. Feel what you're feeling, but make space for the things you haven't been open to that actually do add something to your life or are actually good for you or are actually like making you feel good in some way, even if it's not what you thought, even if it's not what you expected, right? So to trust the unfolding of things and to have that awareness of like, oh, this is actually feeling better than I thought in this way. Or I wanted the things to go right, but they're going left and it's making me mad and I don't like it and I don't know what to do. Well, they're going left. So you might as well go left and acknowledge that it's not going to the right and be upset about it, but feel what the left is offering you. Right. So it's like that's, I just realized how political that sounded. It's like, this is not like a political reference at all. I swear. That was the example that came to mind. Like, maybe you wanted things to go in like literally go right, right? In the right direction, the right hand direction. And everything is forcing you to go left. And you're like, I want nothing to do with going left. I want everything to do with going right. And so you're just like fighting it and being angry. Again, be human about it. Like be angry about it. You're allowed to be angry about it. And recognize why it makes you so angry or why it makes you upset or whatever. But also like give yourself the allowance to feel what going left can offer you, can gift you, can like what about going left can feel good, even if you didn't really want to go left in the first place, right? Because you never know. You never know what's around the corner. As humans, I think we also can be a little rigid at times where we think we know best. We think we know what's best for us. We think we know what we really want, but there's also things we've never considered before that might actually be better, right? So, as frustrating as it can be at this time, to trust the unfolding, like that is literally the lesson we've been under with Saturn Pisces. And now that the North Node is in Pisces, I mean, buckle up for more of these lessons. Let's just be real about it, right? As long as the North Node is in Pisces, we're going to be learning this collectively to trust the unfolding of things, and to focus and nurture what makes us feel rejuvenated and nourishes us, and to be very clear and discerning and cut off, almost as a clamp off what doesn't. What else wants to be said here? There's something else that wants to be said in all of this. Let's see if it comes back. What else wanted to be said here? I can feel it. There's like an unspoken nugget. I will say before going live, my throat like closed up right before going on the live. So we may be talking a bit about the throat chakra. We've been in a prolonged period of the collective moving out of feelings of suppression and moving out of feelings of guilt and shame. But there's been so much with the throat. I want to say since 2023, there's been a lot with the throat, and it just seems to be continuing as I try to clear my throat. Wasn't there something else? I know there was something else here. Maybe it'll come back. Oh, thank you. So some of you may also feel like, especially like for those who you feel you're going through a birthing, so to speak, with the embracing of what's unfolding, there may be some growing pains. So we talked about this yesterday on Patreon. There may be some growing pains. There may be some contractions, if you will. Okay. That is also coinciding with the surrender and acceptance of what is unfolding and going left versus how badly you wanted to go right. Yeah, that just wanted to be mentioned. Let's go ahead and get into a collective read here. Okay. And my throat is very unhappy in this energy. Can't lie. Ah, I've been having throat problems for a few years now. Yeah, I mean, the collective, like I said, the collective has definitely been going through that energy. By the way, if you're here and you're enjoying the video, please go ahead and drop a little like, pretty please, for other people to find the videos. We're going to start with Big Bertha. If you're new, Big Bertha is a combination deck of the Angels and Ancestors and the Starseed Oracle. If I go left, I'm going to be petty. Why does the word shadow integration want to come up as I read that? I don't know. That's kind of interesting too. That's interesting. I mean, some people are definitely going through that experience, right? Love the white on you. Thank you. I like wearing white. It's just white is very hard to keep clean. And it's one of those things where I am slowly trying to like acquire more white clothes so I can actually have like a consistent laundry cycle of white clothes. Cause I'm the person that like, I'm only going to do laundry if I've got like a shit ton of laundry to like really utilize the load space. And I just don't have a lot of white clothes. And so it takes a long time for me to get to the point where I can do a white cycle. But yeah, I wear a white V-neck daily. Oh, there's the throat. There's the throat. Any messages or insights for the collective at this time? Any messages or insights for the collective at this time? So they're bringing up Beltane again. And so I did put out a short the day before Beltane. Excuse me. Let's talk about it. I'm going to stop shuffling for a minute. Let's talk about it. So Beltane is the midpoint between spring and summer. And I don't remember exactly how I said it in the short because it's a short. I tried really, really hard to say everything in a very short amount of time. And it's always been difficult for me. But we don't have a time constraint here. So Beltane is the midpoint. It is the midpoint between spring and summer. It is this like in between space of the seasons, of the spring equinox and the summer solstice. And it is this point in time and space where we reflect and we feel out how we have been experiencing this like fertile awakening, rising again sort of energy that spring offers, right? Because spring is literally just breathing life again. That's what spring is. It's procreation, it's fertility, it's the fiery breath and spark of life is what spring is. Summer is the space of doing something and maintaining that flame of life and fertility, right? Where like we can equate spring to being like what creates the baby, and summer is, ooh, let's enjoy this youthful baby child energy, right? Just to kind of give a contrast of the two energies, right? So Beltane is this interesting moment in time and space where we're aware of how we have been feeling, what we've been learning and experiencing since spring, and where we can actually feel what that has brought us to in this present moment and see where it's taking us potentially, but all from the focal point of the present. And that's key here. You're not trying to project into the future. You're not trying to live out the past, right? And we're still in this window, by the way, even though technically it was yesterday. We're still in this window over the weekend. And the fact that Pluto is about to go retrograde in Aquarius, I think is actually going to help us with this for those that need it. But it's all from this like focal point and lens of where you're at presently. It's this understanding of how you got to this point, what got you to this point from spring, how you feel about it, which is key with these current energies, how you feel about it, and in the context of what is feeling good about this unfoldment and what's not, in the way we've already talked about, right? But being focused on the way things are unfolding, even if it's not as you expected, what feels right about it, what feels nourishing about it, what feels life-giving about it, so you can maintain that fire, you can maintain that life moving into summer. So again, just kind of coming full circle here with all of the stuff that we're talking about, right? Whatever's gone on since March, there has been, for everybody, however it's looked for you, there has been some sort of shifting and rising of vitality, okay, in some way. Even if that has coincided with some releasing, some deaths, some endings, if you will, it doesn't really matter, right? Everyone's had this little shifting and rising of energy within them or within their life in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Some of you that's in the form of inspiration. Some of you inspiration is more of this like looking into summer energy. So from where you're at now, what are those things? What is that? How has life risen within you or within your life? Looking at it from this present moment, not reliving it, just looking at it from where you're at now and how it's feeling in your body. And from that point of view, hi, buddy. Hold on. I know. I know. And from that point of view, right? What is feeling good and what's not, right? And from this same point of view, what those things are that feel good is giving you some sort of indication, some sort of clue of where this new energy, this new vitality, this new rising of fire, if you will, is taking you. You don't have to know all the details about it. You don't have to even like logic it out. But it would be a very clear, like, oh, this would take me to this, and that could take me to that. And it's like some of you may use this to plan. You don't have to. That's not the point. It's just to have this awareness of how new life has arisen within you and in your life. And from the choices you've made, right, leading up to this present moment, how you're working with that new energy, how you're working with that source of life or not, right? And based off of where you're at now from where you were in March, if you continue the same way, if you continue to nurture these things or not nurture these things, it should give you some sort of indication of where that might take you by summer. Again, this isn't about intellectualizing it. This isn't about like forcing anything. It's just a state of awareness, is what that is. If you are looking at where you're at right now from where you were in March and nothing has changed, like nothing has changed, it may be beneficial to be open to making some different choices because choice is a huge factor here, right? This is how we co-create, right? We do this self-check-in. We practice this awareness. We don't force things to happen, right? This is how we work with energy. This is how we work with seasons. This is how we work with cycles. This is how we work with elements. This is how we work with spirit. Okay. So that just wanted to be mentioned. Okay. Do a new timestamp for the actual read here. Okay. All right. And when I speak of like, oh, if nothing's changed, these changes can be like subtle. These changes don't have to be my whole life has changed. You know what I mean? They can be subtle. They don't have to be super grandiose. We got it. Okay. I got to go on a little rant. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm not sorry. We got to go on a little rant for a second. We got to take the grandiosity out of some of these channel messages that come through. I'm just calling it out. Okay. I'm just calling it out. Now, are there times where we get some really, really big messages as readers? I'm speaking like across like the board for readers and channelers. Okay. Yes, because there are some people, there are some collectives in the collective where that message of the macro is very important, right? Because someone does need that confirmation. Sometimes we do need to hear that. But when we're speaking about like navigating these natural cycles of life, right? Like navigating literally everyday life, even in the way you're interpreting what a reader is saying, take the grandiosity out of it because life is not always that grandiose. There's a lot of magic in the mundane. There is. Sometimes we ignore that. Sometimes we don't want to believe that. And I think honestly, like our own pain body gets in the way of that. And that's a whole other video. That's a whole other video that's not for today. But if you're someone who like watches readings on the regular, and a reader is saying something and it sounds really big, it sounds life changing. And for some people, it is life changing stuff that's going on. But have your own discernment on it. Like, have your own lens of your reality on it, of what is actually going on in your life right now. Is that actually that grandiose? Or is what they're speaking on more in a subtle thing in your life? Like, if they're speaking on, like, oh, someone's going to change their entire career, does that actually apply to you? Or is it more like, oh, maybe I'm going to shift the way I look at my job, or maybe I'm going to find more joy in my job, or maybe I'm get like a new whatever. It's like, you understand what I'm saying? And I'm speaking to people who watch readings and people who also provide readings, um, to make more room at the table for the mundane, because it's like that is at the end of the day a big part of life as well. Anyway, I've my patrons now. I've had some extra ranty moments the last couple of weeks. Okay. Any messages or insights for the collective at this time? I feel like that's also a big part too of just like accepting the way things are unfolding, right? Um, because there may be some things about the way things are naturally unfolding around you that are more normal, everyday, mundane like things. Um, I keep getting the pain body. I keep getting the pain body here. I guess would make sense, right? Because like if there's any sort of resistance happening, there's something about you that's wanting to fight the experience. There's something about you that's saying no, 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 no. whether that's out of a painful thing, whether that's out of painful emotions, whether that's out of ego, whatever, just sheer will of just wanting to be attached to a certain experience. Um, they're having me mention it for a reason, and so maybe there's just like some benefit that could be had here from being open to that, from being open to that. That there may be something about your pain body that is screaming no when things are naturally going a certain way, right? Okay. Any messages or insights for the... Oh, thank you. Oh, very interesting. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I'm just getting things. Protection, protection, guardian, drop your shields. Yeah, just let shit happen. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like laughing. I think sometimes we gotta laugh at ourselves, at our humanness. I think it's important to laugh at our own humanness here. Because that resistance, I can't stop feeling it. And protection guardian usually comes out to say, like, hey, you're safe, like everything is cool, like we got you. But this card, and I'm getting more of a sassy sort of energy with this. I'm getting let go and let God, and just allow yourself to accept what's happening. Allow yourself to accept the natural flow of where things are, of how things are unfolding. With drop your shields too, some of you, this speaks to vulnerability. Um, Hearing parameters. Um, there's they're showing me like a glass within a box. And they're showing me a ball within a glass within a box. Oh, this is interesting. Um, okay, there's quite a few things coming up here. That old saying of like, square peg round hole, so to speak. It's like there's a little bit of that going on here, where some of you have been trying to like force certain things in your life. You know what those things are, but it really doesn't fit your natural baseline. It doesn't fit your essence. A square peg in a round hole, right? Uh, and to be aware of that, because like even just like seeing like a ball, a circular shape within a glass that's like cylindrical in a box, right? It's like the glass and the ball make sense. Like they both have this like circular, spherical, cylindrical shape to them, but the box doesn't make any sense, right? So it's like to be aware of, yeah, how much you are forcing things that are actually not in your true essence or your true nature. And I know we've spoken on these things before, but it's like maybe that's just something you've done. And again, this doesn't have to be super, super major. It doesn't have to be about the entirety of your life. It could literally be like how you go about your daily routine, right? Even just thinking about like South Node, North Node, Pisces, Virgo, right? Routine, daily tasks, and things of that nature. Um, Maybe it's certain like hobbies you've like tried to pursue, and like maybe it's like not actually giving you joy, and maybe you're just doing it to do it. Maybe you're doing it because it's cool or whatever. Like you understand what I'm getting at there. Square peg round hole is one thing that I'm getting, but parameters and vulnerability. Um, I feel like this is more for those who have been. Oh, how do I want to phrase this? Let me be very careful with how I phrase this. Feeling the very real challenges of like where's the line of open, receptive, and vulnerable, and having proper boundaries and saying no. Sacred no. Sacred no is coming through here. Because even that box with like the the glass and the ball and in the ball and the glass in the box. Good lord. There's something about that where it's like where you can really exist in a way that feels open and vulnerable and receptive and really in your own true alignment, right? But you still have a parameter. You still have some parameters that you are operating in your flow. Oh, thank you. I just got 2 messages with that. Yes. So owning what your baseline is, what your modus operandi really is, and like how to flow with your real essence, like finding that and finding your way in the world of operating in that way within the box, within the parameters, um, well, set by the physical reality, but boundaries. Boundaries is the other message here. Yeah, the sacred no, the practice of the sacred no. Just because you are in alignment and in flow and maybe open and receptive, and maybe you are very compassionate, maybe you are very empathetic, maybe you are very loving. Um, how do I want to say this? It doesn't mean you're compromising, right? It doesn't mean you're compromising. Um, I want another word. I want another word. Can I get another word for that? Yeah, again, it's just coming. They're like, you don't need it. It's like it's been said. There's like it's been said. But to have proper boundaries of exercising that sacred no, and it's like, again, while you can have this like beautiful flow and openness of self, but you know what to say no to. And that also ties into what diminishes your energy, what makes you feel weaker, what makes you feel bleh, what makes you feel full of doubt and fear, and what makes you feel uplifted and rejuvenated and even powerful, even confident, right? So a lot of messages coming through here with the protection guardian. Mostly being drawn to I've actually never noticed her wings before. She's actually supposed to be a female version of Archangel Michael in this deck. Um, oh, oh my god, I've never seen that before. Imma come back, Imma come back, Imma come back. I wanna talk about her wings first. Spirit, I love you. I just love the way spirit works. But her wings, her wings, the spectrum, the color spectrum of her wings is just, like, beautiful to me. Peacock is obviously there's a little nod there with the headdress she has, but, like, the rainbow colors of her wings is really jumping out to me, this, like, again, full sense of alignment. The other thing, she has a shield. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, she is supposed to be the female version of Archangel Michael," and it immediately brought me to Bellatrix and Beetlejuice. Hang in there with me. Beetlejuice is not associated with Archangel Michael, that's Aldebaran. I'm talking about fixed stars, by the way, if you're new to astrology and all that stuff. I'm talking about fixed stars right now. So there are 2 fixed stars that sit in the Orion constellation in Gemini, um, Beetlejuice and Bellatrix, and they are the left and right shoulders of Orion, of the hunter, okay? They're the only fixed stars in the entire constellation that have a Mars association, this association with war, right? Bellatrix is feminine. She actually is like the female warrior is how she's described, and also connected like Amazons and Diana, but she holds the shield and Beetlejuice holds the sword. Is it the sword? Pretty sure it's a sword. Um, which again reminds me of Archangel Michael with his sword. So I'm just like, oh, this is very fascinating. Because Jupiter has been working with Bellatrix. Hold on a second. Hi, Bubby. You're not settled. I can tell you're not settled. Do you think you can get settled? Please? So I can continue doing my thing? Here. There you go. There you go. Do you just need permission? Come on, just relax. Just relax. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway, so it's bringing my attention to Jupiter. Jupiter working with Bellatrix. This is an energy that was very tied into the new moon and is still present because Bellatrix, I believe, is at like 21 degrees Gemini, while Jupiter's been at 20, moving into 21. So very, very close. But Bellatrix, the female warrior holding the shield, it is more of this like, oh, it is more in the name of like protection versus like taking action, initiating, and like waging war, so to speak. Um, which is very interesting to see these different like polarities of war, right? Because we can be in the thick of conflict and chaos, and just trying to look out in a way of like, how do I just protect myself, versus like Beetlejuice speaks more of like going out and starting shit. Essentially, there's just a nod there, so I just felt the need to mention it. If you have Gemini around these placements, I believe Beetlejuice is more like 28 degrees Gemini, so between like 20-29 degrees Gemini, there may be something coming up here in relation to you with that. Anyway, let's move on. So the ball in a glass in a box is the main message here. Any other messages or insights for the collective? I knew that card was going to come out. It's everyone's favorite card. Earth School. Don't we love us some Earth School? Earth School's so fun sometimes. Life lessons. Actually, it is fun sometimes. And sometimes so not fun. Life lessons, soul growth, study, and higher. Even like saying the description, I'm like, ugh. So like I am so sick of looking at this card. Soul growth, study, and higher learning. I feel like it's really speaking to the like there's so much nodal energy being referenced here of Pisces and Virgo, and like how are you flowing and like how are you operating in your day to day, even if it's in your mundane shit, and are you actually letting go, are you being open and receptive? Yeah, very like Pisces Virgo stuff today. I feel like that's all I'm looking at here. So again, some of us may be recognizing that we have been learning these things, right? Are you a square peg trying to fit in a round hole, or it's really a round peg in a square hole or whatever? With the just the way they're showing it to me. Are you truly flowing with your natural modus operandi? Are you forcing shit? Right? Are you really good at having your sacred no? Are you really good at exercising your sacred no and having proper parameters and boundaries without compromising yourself? Right? Are you actually like doing that? Are you aware of that? Um, are you embracing the natural unfolding of things? All these things. All these things. All these things just kind of being reconfirmed with Earth School. Again, Earth School is all about growth and learning, like here in this incarnation. Wait, it reminds me of the children's song. There's a flea on this. Oh, I don't know that one. There's a flea on the speck on the frog, the bump on the branch. I don't know that one. By the time you're in your 70s, you'll have a doctorate from life school. Oh. Some people like no, I'm not gonna say that. No, never mind. Never mind. I'm glad I caught that right before. I know it's something we all think though from time to time in some fashion. Mm. I know some of you guys are reading my mind. Okay, let's get a third card, please. Again, they're bringing up the pain body. Okay, so there's also, thank you. There's also why Earth School is here. These lessons we've talked about, the natural unfolding, right? Protection Guardians like saying, just like embrace the natural unfolding, embrace the natural unfolding. Some of us are still carrying around some stuff in our pain body from our experiences that's making it very difficult to embrace the unfolding here. Embrace the way that things are naturally occurring. So yeah, I mean, some of you there may be some shadow work here, and like, I'm so sick of even saying that term shadow work. If you've got stuff in your pain body that's like making it very like literally painful or difficult, I want to say making it painful to embrace the natural unfolding, it's here in the cards. It's being made very clear in the cards that it's from some experiences you've had in this incarnation, in this earth school, and it's just you've had a hard time letting that go or resolving that within yourself. Okay. There's something else I wanted to come up here. Oh, the contractions. So I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. The contractions. If you're going through some sort of like, if you're perceiving that you're going through some sort of birthing experience, that is part of the contractions, right? Is experiencing that discomfort of the pain body and what the pain body think. Oh, thank you. This again came up yesterday in the patron reading, but coming back, it's just like give me so much information. I gotta like take a minute. In these contractions, in the discomfort, in experiencing the triggers of the pain body, in response to spirit going like embrace how things are going, embrace the unfolding, embrace the unfolding, the pain body's getting triggered for some people, and that is the contractions, right? Because what we've experienced in this incarnation got us to this point. What we have experienced in earth school up until this point, see, reminding me of the midpoint of spring and summer and the way I spoke about, what got us here is everything we have experienced in earth school. It was vital to have these experiences to be who we are and where we are now, right? And so in this birthing, if some of you are experiencing that, you've needed that. That has been your sustenance, okay? That's been your placenta. That's been your umbilical cord, if you will. You're here with me in the metaphors here, okay? That has been your nutrients, right? To get to this point. And as you're going through this birthing experience, you're being reminded of that, and it's uncomfortable, and it's like it's painful, and it's triggering, and it feels awful. But as we are birthed, right, all of that is also released. All of that comes out. We lose the placenta, we lose the umbilical cord. It gave us those nutrients, it gave us that sustenance, and now it's going to be released with this process, right, of the contractions, of the birthing. But you actually have to like allow that to happen. Okay, Alice, hey. Very fitting at the moment. Oh, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you on that. All right. Third card. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have the moon. Take note of intuitive messages. I'm not shocked this is here because this is just saying like pay attention, right? It's saying pay attention to what is actually happening, right? Versus what your pain body is telling you for some people, but pay attention to how things are unfolding. For some people, it's really subtle. For some people, it's really not subtle, right? Everyone's in a different space with this in their journey right now. Okay. So just pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. And also pay attention to even if it is subtle, right? I'm going to use the word subtle here for those where that applies. And you, again, if it's not subtle, but pay attention to the little indications, the little signs, the little things that feel good about this unnatural folding and what doesn't, because some of you it is subtle. Some of you the awareness of like what is nourishing and revitalizing for you and what isn't, what is disempowering for you is subtle, and some of you it's really really loud. Okay, so pay attention to that. But something else that they're bringing up, um and again, this isn't for everybody. You got to be discerning about what messages are for you. Okay. Because I read for a lot of people who are in a lot of different spaces right now. They're bringing up, okay. They're bringing up wolf energy, but like maybe some guys been working with the wolf, but I'm getting more like in relation to the direction of north. So a lot of interesting medicine wheel seasonal cyclical teachings here. Um, What that means, if you're like not if that's not part of your world, it's like taking this moment where it feels almost like hermity, hanged man like, um, this moment of kind of what I was speaking about the midpoint, right? We're taking this like moment of getting in that focal point of the present and acknowledging what's happened since March and acknowledging where the energy is taking you based off of where it got you so far. The wolf coming through here, again, some of you may have been working with the wolf, but the wolf is very instinctual. Wolf can also speak of intuition, but the wolf is an animal that does help with journeying or like having to be on a journey of sorts, whether you've been doing that alone or you've been doing that within a community or with like friends or a group or whatever. Um, the wolf is a great companion for this kind of process, is what I want to say. Um, because the wolf can also help us with our innate like desires and instincts and emotions and all of that. Again, they're bringing up south node and north node very strongly here, because I am getting a little bit of that like past energy of like even just from March, but some of you maybe even deeper than that, especially if we're talking about the pain body, right? So while I'm trying really hard to stay focused on this message of this midpoint of reflection of since spring equinox, right? And from the moment of the present, gauging the future, feeling the future and where things are headed, the natural flow of energy. The pain body coming up here so much for some people, it may be a bigger reflection than that, where it's not just about what happened since March. Maybe it is about some sort of experience that, again, your pain body is holding on to from some point in time, right? To resolve whatever you need to resolve there. But some of you may need to, not I'm not gonna say need, some of you may benefit from working with that wolf energy, that south nodal, underworld, subconscious, shadowy, karmic kind of energy to resolve whatever's going on in the pain body and recognize everything you have experienced got you here. Yeah. Everything you have experienced got you here. And no matter how things are changing, if you are getting triggered or you're frustrated or you're feeling pain because of how things are changing, what is the pain body trying to tell you? What is that piece of you trying to tell you about what has gone unnoticed? What's gone unnoticed? What's gone unacknowledged? What's gone unresolved? Thank you for bringing up desire. Some of you may realize this may actually be tied to desire. So we talked a little bit about that in the weekly. And I said it on the Patreon live yesterday, but I'm going to say it here. Desire is not always grandiose. This is a big message today. Desire doesn't have to be desire for things outside of yourself. It can be, but it doesn't have to. You can have desire for peace. You can have desire for ease. You can have desire for a cup of coffee. It doesn't have to be desire and this all encompassing passionate sensual experience. It can for some people, but it doesn't have to be that grandiose. And I think that message got a little bit lost in translation in the weekly for some people. Okay. Cause like that's also what I'm getting here. And it's also reminding me of things I've said before, where when you start to feel discomfort and pain, fear, especially, sometimes those are little indicators to actually sniff out what you really want and what really matters to you and what you really desire, right? Because we don't have strong feelings about shit we don't care about, right? It's literally just this is just how human beings work. We don't have strong reactions to things we don't care about. We only have strong reactions to things that really matter to us in some way, shape, or form. So if you are feeling pain or fear or confusion in reaction to what is naturally unfolding for you and what you're being asked to like give into a little bit, that is your pain body. I also want to say your inner wolf for some of you screaming something at you about your desire and about your values and what matters to you. And yes, maybe some trauma that's tied into there too, but it's screaming something at you and it's important to pay attention to that. We're doing collective right now. Um, this is also again where the moon comes in. So just to kind of circle back, right? The moon also speaks to nuance and subtlety and the subconscious and emotions and all of the things that we're talking about here. Okay. So I know we had a lot of messages come through today, and I'm not surprised because, like, the last, I want to say, like 2, 3 weeks, I can feel, oh, I don't want to say this. All the little different things that are happening in the collective, and it's very varied right now. And, like, we're always in a different space and time, right? Because we're 8 billion unique individuals, like, for sure. But for the most part, like, there's, like, some, like, decent umbrella energies that go on. It feels way more intricate these last couple weeks. Um, so I just wanted to make sure I made space for everything that was wanting to come through there. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Marcy. Thank you. Um, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I think that's fine for the collective read. I think we can move on from that. Whew, it's kind of a lot. No, wait, there's one more thing. There's one more thing. I don't even know if it really needs to be said. It's just something I'm picking up on. Because remember, protection guardian is saying, like, give in to this, give in to the unfolding, get vulnerable with this, like surrender and give in, give in, give in, give in, give in. Earth school, I keep getting that wolf energy of, like, that resistance and the pain body and all of those things. Again, recognizing that everything that happened for a reason and got you to this point. It is important to recognize that. It's important to accept that because it's just part of your journey, right? But something else that I was just getting to was how that pain body, or the unchecked shadow, if you will, may be causing a little bit of unnecessary havoc and unnecessary sabotage, even from accepting how things are unfolding. And I keep getting, like, the way things are unfolding, they might not be as expected, but it doesn't mean it's leading to bad things, even if the ego or the pain body or this unchecked shadow or wolf, whatever, is telling you otherwise. Okay. Okay. One more thing. Taking the moment at the midpoint, I'm getting that sacred mountain energy where it is just getting to, like, a space, um, physical, non-physical, where you can really just be rooted in yourself and get into a reflective state, okay, with all of the stuff that we're speaking on, where you're kind of, like, removed from what's going on around you to take a moment to do this for those who need to do, for those who would benefit from doing this. Okay, now we're complete. Now that we're almost an hour in. Whew, that was just a lot. Actually, I'm gonna leave these cards here. We're doing elements or signs today. Hmm. I know everyone really loves it when I do signs. Um, I feel like more and more lately they really want me to stick with elements. It's probably to reserve my energy. There's some stuff going on in my personal life right now. So yeah, I think we're gonna stick with elements today. Ooh, we're gonna start with air. Okay. Air signs. I'm just picking up my decks. Air signs. No, 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 no. Okay. All right. Going with the pocket archetypes, and then we're going to do tarot here. But I want to, like, really sit in the tarot reading with you guys today. All right. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So remember, we talked a little bit about Bellatrix and Beetlejuice for the third decan of Gemini. If you don't know what that means, it's just Gemini 20 degrees to 29 degrees. We've talked about Pluto and Aquarius. We don't really have much going on in Libra right now. We did have the full moon. We did have the full moon in Libra recently, like a couple weeks ago. Just to give some astrology context. Okay. Air signs. What's going on for air signs? You can treat this as a weekend reading, present moment reading, even if you're catching this like well after the fact, okay? Didn't feel like an hour, right? Yeah, time's been weird. Time has been very weird for a lot of people. All right, air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Any messages for my air signs regarding this spread? For Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. They're showing me a green diamond. Green may be a big color for you right now. I don't think diamond as in diamond. I mean like the shape. A diamond shape. Some of you may practice sacred geometry. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Any messages or insights for my air signs? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. They're bringing up intention, air signs. They're bringing up intention. I feel like there's a window of opportunity to exercise awareness of where your intentions are coming from. It's reminding me of the Mars retrograde lessons that we have been integrating, and we are almost out of the post shadow. We're almost out of the integration phase of Mars retrograde, but Mars moving through Cancer and Leo since September, crazy to even think about. We're almost there. But that entire period of time was putting us in situations and having to make choices and to, practice awareness of like, do we operate from what we really care about? Do we operate from an emotional space? Do we operate from our souls, or do we operate from ego? Do we operate from the pain body even? So the fact this is coming up, I'm not too surprised, but it's interesting it's coming up in your reading and not fire signs. Some of you may be aware that like maybe you have been operating with a little bit of the pain body doing the driving, right? Versus your soul doing the driving. I really want to say the pain body. You can say unchecked ego, shadow, that inner wolf, if you will, the human, very human part of you, but I want to say the pain body for the collective here. Okay, air signs. Any messages or insights from my air signs? Gemini, Libra, yeah, green. They keep bringing up green, super strong. We have the warrior coming out here. Why is that just giving me Beetlejuice and Bellatrix, right? Warrior. Maybe you've been operating from this more warrior space, which isn't bad, right? There is a very like healthy expression of that, right? It doesn't have to be a distorted, outdated way of dealing with war or waging war. But why is warrior here for my air signs? Oh. Oh. The father. So very, very strong masculine energies showing up, which makes sense. You are a masculine sign. But the father with warrior, it's given me kind of old patriarchy. I got to be honest. It really is how it's feeling to me. It's giving me a little bit of distorted masculine energy. That's like part of the pain body experience for my air signs here. So again, you may be aware or becoming aware of certain, thank you. I don't want to say that. Oh, how does that phrase go? Setting your sights. It's like, I don't know. It's giving me like, maybe some of you guys like guns. It's giving me like a sight on a sight thingy thing that they have. I don't know if that's what they call them. I'm not a gun person. On gut, I'm like, I'm wanting to do this. That's very interesting. I don't know. That felt weird. What you've had your sights set on. Some of you that has been entangled, I'll say. Entangled with some older ways of operating that feel very, well, I want to say patriarchal. Patriarchal and like outdated. I will say outdated. And some of you, this is actually like being on the defensive, which is interesting because that feels very offensive to me, but like they're saying defensive. Whatever you've had your sights set on, some of you, it has been like preemptive. Like you've been trying to like mitigate or like do some damage control or like, maybe even like trying to like look out for yourself. But it feels like trying to do things in the present to protect your future which isn't bad. That's like a good way of operating. But maybe just be aware. It's like, have you been doing that from a fearful place? Have you been doing that from a place of like, oh, I got to look out for myself because that's how everyone operates, right? It's again, very outdated patriarchal way of thinking. There's something about the pain body that's like tied into this or entangled in this. But again, doing something in the present to protect your future is a very good thing. But like the energy you're operating from with that intention, what is that energy? Is it heart centered? Is it soul driven? Or is it fear driven? Is it pain body driven? Right? Can I get another card, please? Some of you may be trying to protect maybe even people you love. That's very Mars Cancer, even though Mars is in Leo right now, just speaking to the retrograde lessons. Can I get a third card for my air signs? Interesting. I'm hearing the unknown and the unseen, but like that. Oh, is that an eye? I always thought that was a crystal. It's an eye. Oh, it's an eyeball, and it's kind of a greenish blue. I don't know. It's just jumping out at me. But the mystic here. Yeah, I just keep getting it's like you're trying to set your sights, maybe even like set your target, if you will, in the unknown, which is kind of funky because like you're trying to control what you don't know. You're trying to mitigate what you don't know will happen. You're trying to mitigate the unknown, but from a place of protection, maybe from a place of like just protecting the self or like looking out for the self. Somebody this could be someone you know, doesn't have to be you. There's something very like something very interesting about it because I feel like you can't actually see. So how can you set your target if you can't actually see your target, right? This is super interesting. I'm gonna get one more. Some of you could be using the past to gauge the future, right? With this whole midpoint energy. One more for my air signs. But some of you may be blindly taking action, but in a way where it's from the pain body and not soul driven. Yeah, the hunter. The hunter, very much that like energy. So again, regardless of how this is coming up within you, it's coming down to, are you doing this from a soul driven place? Some of you are. Some of you are doing it from a pain body driven place. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's get some tarot cards out here. Any other messages or insights for air signs, please? We have the Fool coming out. This is like wanting to rest on me. All right, so Fool was definitely leaping into the unknown, and I was getting that like you can't see. It doesn't feel like you can see. Mm. 9 of Cups. Why is the 9 of Cups here? You are acting out of self-interest with the 9 of Cups being here because the nines are pretty self-focused. Yeah, then all the nines in tarot are pretty self-focused. The 9 of Cups, the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Wands, very much about the self. Anything else for my air signs? 3 of Pentacles. Why is the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles here together? Magician. I feel like you're walking away from something. I feel like some of you guys are actually putting the gun down or realizing you need to. That's super interesting. So with the 9 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles, we have Magician coming out here. But this is after this, like, I feel like you're actually leaving this energy behind. So with the 9 of Cups and 3 of Pentacles, this is an energy of like out of self-interest, trying to create something, trying to get people together, get plans together, but it is out of self-interest. And the fact you have the Magician here, I wanna say you've had a high level of confidence in whatever you've been trying to do out of self-interest. And again, self-interest isn't bad. It's just about the energy you're working from out of that self-interest. But with the Fool, I feel like you're having a moment where you're realizing whatever you have been focused on, you need to almost not put your energy towards it. That's super fascinating. Like you need to put the gun down because you really can't see. Yeah, thank you. Instead of trying to like mitigate what's not actually happening right now, because it does, it feels like you're trying to mitigate the future. Instead of trying to mitigate what you don't even see or what you can like what is not even happening in your present, it's like you're putting the gun down and stop and like trying to get your focus off of that and like stop trying to project into the future and just be here and trust that even if you can't see, that you can at least trust the unfoldment. That's super interesting. Okay. Anything else for my air signs? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Ooh, on the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, 5 of Wands. Yeah, yeah. Even yeah, okay. Air signs, you've had a lot of confidence with this. A lot of confidence with this, but literally on the 3 of Pentacles, we had the 5 of Wands. No matter how much confidence you've had in whatever it's, I can't, the phrase is so hard for me. Whatever you've set your sights on, however you've been trying to mitigate the future, honestly, control the future is what it feels like. Out of self-interest, out of trying to protect yourself, even if you've tried to bring other people into it, you've had so much confidence, even though you haven't been able to see. And it has been creating the 5 of Wands. It has been creating some sort of friction, some sort of delay, some sort of like tension. Yeah, that's so interesting. But like I said, it's like I think you're gonna get to a point where you're just gonna stop. You're just gonna put the gun down because it's not working out. Because you're not supposed to try to mitigate and control. You're supposed to surrender. Final cards for my air signs. Actually, let me get a card on the Fool. Can I get a card on the Fool for my air signs? Well, that's too many. Can I get one card on the Fool? We have another 9. 9 of Swords. So 9s are big for you. Yeah, you're scared to do this. I get it. I get it. You're scared. And so out of fear, what do we try to do? We try to control, right? It's very human. Can I get one more on the Fool? Oh, look at all those swords. We have 2 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. There's a 7 of Swords energy there. I keep feeling that like that pain body. Oh, Susie, thank you. Oh, wow. Super generous. Thank you so much. Hold on, I'm just trying to like the there we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. So kind of you. Thank you. Um I keep getting the pain body there with the 9 of Swords and the 2 of Swords because that 7 of Swords energy just kind of screams like kind of getting in your own way here by getting way too in your head and by listening to the pain body. And the pain body is like, yeah, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Don't you go over that cliff. You don't know what's over there. You better mitigate that. You better try to like control the future of what it means to jump off that. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's the pain body getting in the way. Can we get a look at the pain body for my air signs, please? Can I get a look at the pain body for my air signs? Interesting. Oh, air signs. Hmm. You're showing up here in your own energy when I'm trying to get focused on the pain body factor in your reading here. This is Aquarius, but the King of Swords is somebody who's very confident in what they know. They're very confident in facts and information and logic, what they can see, even. And that might be also why this is freaking you out because it's like you're being asked to not function just off of facts or logic. And I do think it's challenging your ego because I almost feel a sense of pride here with the King of Swords of like, I am very intellectual and I am very smart and I am very logical and I know things. Some of you may be as extreme as like, Not I know all, but maybe some of your ego does feel that way. And maybe you just don't express that. And that's okay. Again, we're all human. Humans are very weird creatures. What's coinciding with this King of Swords energy in the pain body? Oh, thank you. I just got something else. Oh. Oh. Whew. Some of you have had experiences where you've been expected to like be the King of Swords. And that does feel a little bit like being in a critical environment or a judgmental environment or a controlling environment. Some of you, it's like narky, right? Like when we have to deal with judgmental, critical people, overbearing is what I'm hearing. We're expected to know things for whatever cockamamie reasons, but we are. And the more that we know, the more we can prove ourselves and in our intellectual aspect of self, right? Like, look at how great I am. Look at how much value I have. Look at how much I know. Look at how much I can do, right? It keeps us safe. And some of you, I think this is coming up in the pain body where you have had to not be a know-it-all, but like I don't know another way to say that. It's like you've almost had to display this mastery of information or mastery of knowledge or mastery of intellect or being highly capable in some way. I want to say in a way that really actually doesn't make sense. Like maybe you were parenticized as a kid a lot. Like this is the kind of stuff that I'm picking up on. And so the fact that like what actually is working in the natural flow here is not being that, it's freaking you out. Because being this, emulating this has kept you safe. Tell me more about this King of Swords. You may have dealt with very shadowy King of Swords people, and I want to say narky people. That's narky people can have that effect on people. Some of you, it's being the person who has all the answers. That's also what I'm getting to. Tell me more about King of Swords. Oh, air signs. Oh, I want to hug you. Yeah, moving into the Fool, the other reason why it's so painful is because it's kind of blowing, some of you, it's blowing up a sense of identity. It's blowing up at like what you thought you knew. It's blowing up what you thought you were so certain about, where you were so sure of. Some of you, it's like blowing up your belief system. Again, some of you, it's an identity thing with Star and a King of Swords. Both of these are Aquarius. This is kind of screaming Pluto retrograde Aquarius with the Tower being here as well, but it's more than that. But yeah, tuning into the pain body for you and how it's factoring in. Yeah, it's blowing up what you thought you knew, what you thought was certain, what you thought you knew, or what you were certain about even, or this identity. And I do want to say for some people that definitely is like affecting the ego. Wow. Actually, okay. Can I get advice here for air signs on how to move into the Fool? Best course of action for air signs to move into the Fool energy. Well, I feel like the death card is going to come out. Oh, I like this as the advice. That's nice. That's a good piece of advice. The Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands is actually like liberating your passion is really the best course of action, where it's like instead of trying to rely on what you know and the facts and like this works and that doesn't work, or this like sense of identity, if you have that, not everyone does here. Instead of that, it is saying get into your wild side a little bit. It's saying be willing to throw the rules out, be willing to throw out what you think you know, and have some fun with this. Find the fun and the frolic and the wildness. They're bringing up the wolf here. But this is almost how you're going to be like working and healing this like source of pain in the pain body, is by leaning into the way things are naturally unfolding and find ways you can have fun with it. Oh my God, my throat. Mm. I might have to get up and get more water soon. Find ways you can have fun with it, be a little wild, be a little spontaneous, and embrace the fun of a little risk. Some of you may be very risk adverse with this being in your pain body. Some of you may be very, very risk adverse, which is why we were getting like setting your sights and plans and like logic and all these things. That's how you're going to deal with this. That's going to be the best advice here. All right, let's move on to another element. Oh, okay. Oh, I put them all the way over there. Okay. Clyde just being cute. Who are we going with next? Oh, we're going with Earth. Okay. Very different order today. I don't know why I'm getting a little Alice in Wonderland vibes. You know what? I just realized. I haven't checked the White Rabbit asteroid in a really long time. I feel I must. So just give me 1 second. I'm just going to see where it's currently at. I feel like I haven't looked at it in like maybe a year. Let's see here. Today is the 2nd. Let's just see where it's at today. The White Rabbit. By the way, I can't see the chat while I'm doing this, so just letting you know, I am still here with you. I just can't see your chats just right now. Very curious. Oh, help. Whoa. What? Why is it not available? That's weird. That's weird. I don't like that. That doesn't make sense. Why would it not be available? Okay. That was bizarre. Huh. So the White Rabbit is in Sag, 26 degrees. So I think I already did the timestamp for Earth, but for Air, if you didn't watch Air or if you did watch Air, Sagittarius was the advice, interesting, for air signs, but it's in Sag. So it is opposing Jupiter. Actually, Bellatrix and Beetlejuice. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so the White Rabbit is opposing, it's actually more opposing Beetlejuice than Bellatrix, while Jupiter is working more with Bellatrix. That's interesting. Okay. Hold on. The Astro has been intense. Yeah. Let's see. I see. Gotcha. Tech is funny that way. Yes, from her lust for life days. Oh. Well, I have a small pause. Can I ask something? And I really hope it's not a super repeated question. But for scheduled pre-recorded readings, usually when does the video get sent out? Oh, thank you for bringing that up. So I usually state it in the description to allow up to 72 hours to receive your reading. And there has been a lot going on today, so I'm a little behind. So if you haven't received your reading yet, just wait a full 72 hours. I plan on doing that. I plan on doing a lot of them today and then tomorrow as well. So yeah, so just give that time. But yeah, I was just very curious about the White Rabbit. So interesting. It's in Sag and it's opposing Beetlejuice. I don't know how to feel about that. If you're not familiar with the White Rabbit, don't worry about it. I'm going to keep my eye on it and I'm going to start filling that one out again. Because the White Rabbit does very weird things in astrology. It like kind of creates little side quests to move into. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, Earth signs. Okay. Oh, thank you, Starseed. Thank you. Okay. Earth, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. What's going on for my Earth signs? Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. I feel like you guys are very quiet, actually. You may be in this energy, Earth signs. You may be taking a hot minute to yourself here. Ah. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Yeah. We have the mask. Okay. The mask. The mask is interesting. The mask can speak of identities, the image we project, the representative, if you will. Can also speak of like literally hiding some sort of truth or authenticity. I keep feeling like you're taking space. That's what I keep feeling with my earth signs. I feel like you are up on the sacred mountain metaphorically, and you're just taking space, is what I feel. People may not know what to make of that with you. We have the ring. The ring speaks of cycles. Yeah, I feel like you're in contemplation. Yeah, I feel like you are in contemplation about yourself, where you're at in the midst of cycles, literally like in the midst of all these energies is just what I keep getting. Some of you, if maybe this is for Taurians, maybe even Cappies. I'm getting this like high, I'm getting this high focus on image, like this high focus on like how you present yourself to the world and maybe how you want to change that. Some of you could be deeper than that, where it's like contemplating who you are as a person, but you're in contemplation. Can I get a third card for my earth signs? Yeah, the empty room. Uh, that's how I caught an open slot. Yeah, just check the website. There should be availability, but just check the website. Okay. The empty room coming out here. Yeah. Earth signs, I just keep getting you are taking some space for some serious contemplation here. Or the empty room speaks of potential. And I feel like you are like literally marinating and reflecting on, I want to say marinating more than reflecting, which is interesting because that tells me, it's reminding me of the patron reading, that you're taking some time to really drink yourself in. Like, yeah, I want to say embodying. I want to say embodying. You're really just with you right now. You're with the self right now. Whether that's in terms of identity, who you are, who you want to be, what makes you you, even if you're contemplating cycles and the shifts that are happening and what does that mean for who you are, it's like I feel like I want to say you're embodying and drinking in all of this potential of you. And you're taking space away to do that. Hold on. How do I want to say this? There's something too that I'm getting about like, and this may be a good practice for some of you who are resonating with this, to take a minute to like recognize like the representative or the role that you play with people or in the outside world. Could be within work, family, social groups, or just like in general, like who you are in the context of like the world, like how you show up, right? How you show up versus what is actually happening within you, like internally. Like, is there something parallel there? Is there something not parallel there? I'm just like, I'm getting this feeling of like compare and contrast. Like the image you have outside of yourself and what's going on internally, what's the relationship there? Is there something that is like, I want to say parallel or perpendicular? Um, is there something that's parallel or is there something that's not matching? Like there's something there about comparing and contrasting that I think is going to help you in this reflection in whatever way it needs to for your own process. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Earth signs. Let's get into the tarot here. Any messages or insights for my earth signs? What's going on for my earth signs, please, regarding this spread? This is not for all of you. I think it's just for those where it would help you in your process of this, like, comparing, contrasting, and identity and all these things. They're showing me someone, like, picking apples off of a tree. Discernment is always important, right? But I'm getting, like, reflecting on what apples you've taken from what trees, right? What knowledge or information have you taken from different trees? Have you taken from different people? Have you taken from different like schools of thought? Is what I'm getting here, because you've eaten these apples. You've eaten these apples and they become part of you. But like, were these apples that were in your benefit to take and to eat and consume? Or should you have left some of these apples alone? And even the apples you picked, were they high quality or were they low quality? Did they have worms? Were they rotting or were they like pristine? It's like, again, this whole just like being aware of like what has made you you, and maybe what of these things were maybe not so great to consume and internalize and embody, and which ones were, right? Because that's also contributed to your own tree, right? That's not for everybody, but some of you that may help you. Any other messages or insights for my earth signs? Oh, oh, no wonder you're taking some space. Okay, we got the Ten of Swords. Is this causing the reflection, or is this part of this is part of the reflection? Is the Ten of Swords. So being aware of this like apple picking, I think this is actually more for more of you than I realized. Because I can feel that like clamping off of like what actually like disempowers you or makes you feel gross, right? Or fearful or doubtful, and what isn't, what doesn't, right? What makes you feel rejuvenated and powerful, and what makes you feel weak and disempowered. So I see you like being aware of the apples you have taken from what trees and what apples you've eaten, right? And saying, no more of that. No more of that. We're not going to eat any more of those apples. We're not going anywhere near those trees. Maybe you need to transmute some energy, but it's like it's being aware of that and putting to death is what I'm hearing. So extreme. Putting to death or putting an end to these sources is what I want to say. Yeah, to the sources of teachings or knowledge or information. Because I keep getting it's like you've consumed them and it's been part of you, right? It's been part of you. So on one hand, there is this like drinking in of who you are authentically. But there's also this recognition of what needs to be purged that isn't, right? So you're kind of like consolidating these masks, these identities, and you're also cleaning house at the same time. Oh, interesting. Sitting at a tree. Four of Cups. Yeah, some of these apples, or even apple trees, because like trees can even represent like more than one person, right? Or it's like a much more broader like institution or train of thought. Well, apples are like the little trickles of these thoughts or little trickles of these groups or institutions, right? But the Four of Cups here, it's like we'll just say the apples. These apples have left you, some of you, I want to say confused. I also want to say like really unfulfilled, really, really unfulfilled. And there are other things that are for you. There are better apples, there are better trees. Um, but it's also recognizing what is going to water and nurture your tree. I feel like these cups are like the trees and the apples you shouldn't have taken. I'm not gonna say shouldn't have, because it's just like you did, right? But that really didn't water your tree. It didn't give life to your tree. If anything, it probably took life away from your tree. This cup, these are the apples, these are the trees, these are sources of proper nourishment of your tree. So I know we got a lot of like analogies and metaphors going on here, but I think you guys are getting the message. And again, with the Four of Cups, I just keep feeling like you're taking space to do this. Okay. Oh. Any other messages or insights from my earth signs? Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Another four. Oh my God. Another four. So nines are big for air. Earth signs, fours are big for you. Again, also indicating that you're taking space for this. The Ten of Swords and the Four of Swords also indicate that there's a Six of Swords at play. So finding peace and also allowing yourself to move into a new perspective, a new way of looking at your experiences. Excuse me. And a new way of looking at your experiences so you can eventually like move out of this space, but in a way where you have a much healthier tree and you are nourishing it with the right cups, the right apples, the other trees, because trees also take care of other trees, right? Interesting. Yeah, I just got ecosystem. Some of you, there will be relationships that you're contemplating here, past and present. Oh, yeah, I'm hearing ecosystem because what feeds trees? Water, other trees, um, other fruits and produce and what have you that fall off of these trees and bushes and create fertilizer. It's like there's so much that nourishes a tree that is you, right? So again, just hanging in there with the metaphor. Um, yeah, just acknowledging what has tainted your tree, what has weakened your tree, and just knowing how to mitigate that moving forward, and knowing what to allow more of and what to say no to. Sacred no. Okay. And this tree can represent a lot of things. I'm just saying it's you, but it can represent like your work. It can represent the entirety of your life. It can represent your emotional body. It's like your right sense of identity, right? So just take it as it resonates. Anything else from my earth signs? Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Mm, excuse me. Page of Swords. Sometimes Page of Swords gets that rap for being the drama card, and sometimes it is. I don't feel that here. Page of Swords, all the pages are about like new, right? New ideas, new approaches, new thoughts, new feelings, new experiences, starting new cycles. The Page of Swords is more like research, analytical understanding. And I feel like this is you gaining that new perspective. I do feel like you are having to shift your perspective up about yourself and about certain experiences, certain relationships, maybe even your life, if it's more big, if it's bigger than that. Again, apply this to your life in the way that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I feel like this is you gaining this new perspective on what your tree is, how to nourish your tree, and how to maintain again the Six of Swords energy, right? Six of Swords to me has quickly started becoming like how we do shift our perspective and our beliefs to get to like the next realm, to get to the next thing, right? To move on, so to speak. And I do see you moving on and leaving behind some very toxic, painful apples and apple trees. But it is coming with your ability to see things differently and see yourself differently as well. One final card for my earth signs: Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. Some of you really need to detach from a sense of identity. You know who you are. That is not to encourage that unless you're already in it. It would be confirmation. Yeah, to see what you couldn't see before. Page of Swords and the Moon. Again, seeing yourself differently. The moon can speak of emotions and intuition and like our own psyche, if you will. And again, I feel like you are allowing yourself to kind of widen how you see things and how you see yourself more than anything. Um, but with the moon, it's like that way of seeing, that way of believing has been there, but it like you needed to kind of go into this space to allow it to emerge. Okay. Yeah. Very interesting reading. All right, let's move on. Okay.